Hello, Oracles! Well, today Tesla broke ground down in Corpus Christi for the lithium refinery. So we'll get into the information about that. They gave out some few details about it, nothing major coming out of there, but there's some good details that kind of tie into all of the other plans that they have as well. So we'll get into all of that in just a moment. So first things first, we'll take a look at the charts. And as you can see today, we were up 1%. So we're starting to fill that gap that is above us to 177. There's another gap above that, very tiny one that goes up to 183.58. So of course, the big question we had is, are we going to fill the gap below us or the gap above us first? My thought was, based upon the FOMC meeting last week, we would fill the gap below us. Seems like we bounced right off of that 150 level and have now started climbing up. So now, maybe we're going to fill the gaps above us first. Again, nobody knows where we're going to go in the future. I make the best guesses that I possibly can. We tapped off of that oversold range and came right back up. Maybe now we're going to climb and get to the overbought range, which is over 70 in the RSI. We'll take a look. We'll see how it goes. I'm still buying every single day. And as far as I'm concerned, if we are going to go up, I'm going to celebrate that. We're going to celebrate going up because it makes us feel good because we've been beaten down for so long. So let's enjoy it if we're going up. And again, we look at the fundamentals, and the lithium refinery today, breaking ground there, is a major piece of the fundamentals. And as Tesla tweets out, increasing lithium refining capacity is critical to a sustainable energy economy. Today, we're breaking ground on our in-house lithium refinery outside of Corpus Christi, Texas. This facility will also prioritize the elimination of a challenging refinery byproduct, sodium sulfate. Instead, the byproduct is a mixture of sand and calcium carbonate, a viable additive in the production of construction materials, allowing us to make use of this waste stream. In the future, we will also process other intermediate lithium feedstocks, including those from recycled batteries and manufacturing scrap. So, if anyone had a chance to watch the groundbreaking this afternoon, if you have not, please check it out. It's over on Twitter. I actually don't even know if it's on YouTube, but it's definitely on Twitter. So, again, they broke into a few different things. One, the location is a prime location because it is near Austin and it's right on the railways that are going to connect all of their feed supplies. So they can have all of the materials they need going directly into there. And then when they have finished refining it, it's going to go directly out. Now, the game plan for this factory is going to be 1 year from now, they should have the factory finished. And then 1 year from then, they're going to have it fully ramped. And they plan on producing enough lithium for 1 million vehicles. As Elon said, the plan is not for them to be able to produce all of the lithium that they need for all of their vehicles, but similar to like what they do for their batteries, they're going to produce enough lithium to help themselves out, but they're still going to be using other suppliers. And again, this goes back to what Elon was stating previously about lithium, especially as we go into the next few years, becoming that bottleneck that is going to hold up the production and the escalation of the EV revolution and changing over the world to sustainable energy. So this big piece right here is Tesla's way of kind of removing that. This factory alone is going to be able to refine and produce more lithium than all of the other refineries in all of North America combined. Now, that's a massive amount. On top of it, they said that they are specifically going to be refining for battery grade lithium. It's important to note that because when they're doing that, it's a much finer grade of lithium that they need. So when there's other lithium products that are out there and things like that, there's a lot of different processes that need to happen along the way. When they're doing a very specific lithium refinery reason for the batteries, they can eliminate a lot of these processes. So in the past, it could take upwards of 9 years to get a refinery up and running and finally fully ramped. Tesla plans on doing it in 2 years, and they're going to be doing it in a more simplified process. So they're going to do it as Tesla does pretty much everything. They're going to be significantly more efficient and more productive at the same time. So they're going to produce more and use less energy to produce even more. Now, that's huge. Then when they also mentioned about how they're going to be able to use the recycling as well, they'll take all the batteries that are getting recycled, be able to cart all of those materials into the refinery, and then recycle there. So it's going to end up becoming this nice closed loop circuit that is going to be just that battery recycling and lithium refinery and all of that. It's eventually going to get to that point, but just having that piece get included into it just shows the efficiency of all of this when it comes to Tesla, lithium refining, And then when you start looking at the proximity also to Mexico, well, we know that coming out of Mexico is going to be a factory that supposedly is going to be producing 4 million vehicles. Chances are it's going to be producing that compact car. Well, guess what? That volume of production is going to require even more lithium. So, Tesla producing all of this lithium goes over to the batteries that are getting produced out of Austin, ship those batteries right down to Mexico. Bam, you're done. Now, we've also had the talks about CATL and their battery coming out, that M3P battery that's going to be used in potentially that compact car as well. So, whether the lithium from this factory is actually going to be used in those compact cars, or maybe it's just going to be used in other products that Tesla has, we don't know for sure. They did not announce that today. But either way, if they are going to be producing that lithium coming out, that is going to then make sure that that bottleneck of potential lithium is not going to be there. So this is huge. So we're looking at, again, 2025. We keep on saying it. 2025 seems like it is going to be that year that Tesla just really opens everyone's eyes. Now, timing of this lithium refinery factory is coming up, and it's going to be fully productive in 2025. So again, 2025 to 2026, if you're starting to wonder, when do we think we're going to be getting that next parabolic move when it comes to Tesla stock? Seems to me like 2025 to 2026 is going to be that time. Again, laying out the timeline here, Cybertruck is coming out this year, but it's not going to actually get to a significant ramp until later in 2024. We've got Mexico coming online in later 2024. We've got that compact car coming out at that same time. Then we are also going to be having the presidential election coming out in late 2024. You go into an election year, you're not going to want to have the economy in the dumpster, so you're going to see the economy is probably going to be starting to pull out of that. Very similar to what we saw in 2008 rolling into 2009. So, with all of these timeline pieces coming into effect, I still think we could see some potential ugly times at the end of this year, beginning of 2024. But then we might be able to pull out of that by the end of 2024, start to get to more of a calmer, bullish sentiment going into 2025, entire market wide, economy wide, worldwide, finally getting to breathe that breath of fresh air coming out. And then we can see the signs of a bull market starting again in 2025. That could be the time when Tesla really starts to take off. I didn't even mention FSD in all of that, because if FSD ends up getting solved, or to the point where we say, hey, you know what, this actually is viable to be on the roads, the government's now starting to look at it from a regulatory standpoint, just hold your horses, because we could really take off after that, especially once we can start putting true numbers into what FSD revenue could be for Tesla. Then we also have energy on top of all of this. Energy is that sleeper, that thing that is just kind of building up below the surface right now. You start ramping up all of this energy on top of it all. Now you're starting to get some energy revenue coming in 2025, 2026. That's moving the needle significantly on the bottom line for Tesla as well. Lots of huge pieces in this timeline showing that 2025 to 2026 are going to be that time frame where we could see that next parabolic jump. Again, when we've seen it in the past, it has come over a 3-week period. So we don't know when in that time frame. I'm just kind of grouping it based upon the timeline that I see from everything else going on when it comes to factories, production, the economy, all of different puzzle pieces coming together. The 2025 to 2026 timeframe seems to be right around that time we are going to most likely get that parabolic jump. Could come in a 3-week period. Could be something like we saw from 2020 to 2021, where, after the COVID drop fell, we soared significantly. Now, keeping in mind, we also got investment grade rating when it comes to credit. So there's going to be a lot more institutions coming in. When you start getting institutions coming in, it's going to minimize the volatility of the stock as well. So while we would love to see that parabolic jump like we saw during COVID, chances are it won't run quite like that, because the institutions are going to push it up in a very solid manner, and it's going to be more steady. On top of all of that, chances are Tesla will end up doing a buyback sometime during that time frame as well. So you add all of these pieces put together, just brace yourselves. Now, again, none of this is guaranteed. This is just the pieces that I have put together based upon all of the information that we currently have and the timing of it all. So if the stock is going to stay sort of suppressed between now and the end of 2024, maybe summer of 2024, That gives us just over a year of amazing buying opportunities. I know we keep on saying this, it's a great buying opportunity, and it's getting boring to some people and it stinks, and some people want to see it run. Don't get me wrong, I'm one of those as well. But again, as many of us who are little guys, we want as much time as possible to be able to buy as much as possible at these lower prices. So, with all of this timing coming in, if we've got about a year to a year and a half of a great lower than that should be, in my opinion, price for the stock, that could be amazing. And then we could be looking back from 2026, 2027 to now going, dang, I wish we bought more. So overall, again, this wasn't a move the stock type of announcement today. We already knew that this was coming. This was just more of a formality than anything, but just another massive fundamental piece to keep in the back of your mind as a long-term investor as to what the future is going to bring when it comes to Tesla and the stock. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about the lithium refinery. What do you think this means for the future as well for Tesla? And what is your timeline looking like for when we are going to be seeing that next parabolic jump for the stock? That's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.